Good morning and welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder and this is BRN AM for Monday, March 16th, 2020. And our top stories today, well, it's tax time. How can you prepare your 2019 taxes? And also we'll give you some tax tips, things you need to think about as you're preparing your taxes. Well, joining me now is Michael Berman. He's a partner and accountant with KBST&M. Michael, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Jeff, for having me.
Well, it's great to see you. And I was going to joke, kind of leading into this with the song, "I'm the Tax Man," right? We're a month away from tax time, and I want to, you brought with us to us some of your tips that we're going to cover in segment 2. But let's kind of talk through some of the general things that people should be aware of going into filing their 2019 taxes. What's top of mind?
Sure. Let me start with a lot of the deduction and credits that are available for people. One of them is really the child tax credit that actually got increased in 2018, and it is the same amount as 2018 now for 2019, which is $2,000 per child up to the age of 16. You can get a $2,000 credit. It's a non-refundable credit.
Yeah, that sounds like a good change and something that when you're filing your taxes. Now, do you need to itemize to get that?
No, this is just a credit that's available because you have a dependent child.
That's great. So an incentive to have more children, I guess, and it certainly works to the advantage of those that have families and takes a little skin off the game, if you will, reduces some of that taxable wage base, right? So, but what else? What else is top of mind?
Another area is actually staying with the child topic. There are child care and dependent care credits that are available if you have your child under age 14 involved in a after school child care or maybe a summer camp during the summer. As long as it's not a overnight camp, there are credits that are available for that as well. There are some phase out limitations, but it is available.
And in terms of you mentioned 2 very important child deductions and child care. What do you need as a tax preparer? I mean, you're dealing with all different types of families and corporations as well. What type of documentation would you need to provide to your tax preparer vis-a-vis to the IRS to realize this credit?
Sure. Normally, we just get a copy of the bill or like a yearly summary that includes the information of who was the provider, their either a federal ID number, or if it was just a local person in the community, their social security number, and then you're able to take that credit.
Yeah, well, that is really good, helpful tip. One question that I have, and I think the audience probably, they are hopefully are not waiting to the last minute to file their taxes. But in terms of if they do work with a tax preparer, like someone like yourself, or they do it themselves, how do you gather all the information you need to provide to do that? I mean, that's going to be a daunting task, especially for people that have a little bit more complicated tax returns.
Jeff, that's a really great question. Especially now with a lot of the information available online through portals, through the different financial institutions, and the access is readily available. So you can either download it from your respective website, or and actually a lot of the documents do come in the mail, and they kind of are identified, hey, important tax information. So what I would suggest is anytime you see one of those documents come in the mail in the January into early February, is put it aside into a pile so that you have all those documents available to prepare your taxes or to provide it to your tax preparer.
Yeah, and you can actually, if you do download it, you can put it into a folder. Or if you get the hard copy, because there are still some banks and institutions that mail a 1099, you can actually scan it if you have a I guess you could take a picture of it, Michael, right? I mean, do you have some clients that physically take their phone, take a picture and say, Michael, I forgot to send you this?
Yes, we actually do. And we actually have a service that we use called Tax Caddy that allows you to take a picture and upload it to a secure site so that we can receive it from that standpoint.
Yeah, that's a great service. I want to talk to you also about something that I want to assess how it's creeped into your business. Data security, data privacy, cybersecurity, all the buzzwords. That is big stories that we see with data breaches in the financial services business. I got to think that there has to be some cyber protections because you're dealing with Social Security numbers, you're dealing with employee identification numbers, employee IDs, you're dealing with very sensitive information. And I would think that the portal, like a Tax Caddy, kind of shelters or protects that information. But how important is it for your business to protect that data?
It's very, very important. As you said, the data that we are dealing with is very sensitive, and if that got in the wrong hands, it could really be used in a very bad way. So I mean, we kind of take that very seriously, and the providers that we use to kind of facilitate the exchange of information.
Yep.
We do a lot of background checks on that and confirm their authenticity.
Yeah, I mean, it probably has created another layer of your business that maybe 5-10 years ago, a lot of people in your space probably didn't even think about this kind of stuff. But as data, it becomes more and more readily available and subject to hackers and other people, the baddies out there getting information, I would think that this is an additional cost and layer of work that you guys have to do.
It's really just part of the job in today's world. You know, you have to spend the resources on areas that are, important to your client base.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, I want to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Michael about some tax tips that he may have as you're getting ready, and hopefully you are, to prepare your taxes. So stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
The windows on our homes, they protect us and the ones we love, but they do much more. At Renewal by Andersen, making your home more comfortable is at the center of every window we make. It's why we custom build our windows in America and install them in as little as 1 day. It's why we build our frames with exclusive Fibrex composite material that's 2 times stronger than vinyl. It's why our glass helps keep your home warmer in winter, cooler in summer, and quieter all year long. It's why we stand behind every window with a 20-year limited warranty. Why not help lower your energy costs while giving your home and family the best? Call 1-800-835-6525 to schedule a free in-home consultation. Buy one, get one at 40% off with this special offer. Plus, get special financing with no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 1 full year. Renewal by Andersen, the better way to a better window. Call 1-800-835-6525 now.
Welcome back. It's tax time, and joining me, of course, this morning is Michael Berman. He's a partner with KBSTNM. Michael, thanks so much for sticking around this morning.
No problem, Jeff.
Well, so we went all over the place. We were talking before we came back from commercial break. We talked about the child care credit. We talked about data security. Now, Michael, we're 30 to 31 days out from the official filing date. What are some tax tips? What can you tell the Americans out there who are hopefully getting started using a tax preparer or using a tax online service?
Sure. Well, there's actually, still some stuff that you can do up to the deadline to actually save some taxes that may be applicable. So one thing is an actual IRA contribution. You can actually make an IRA contribution for 2019 up to 415. So you still have some time to make that retirement contribution. It's very possible that it could create a deduction on your return. Another item is if you have a high deductible insurance plan and you have a HSA, which is a health savings account, you can also make a contribution into that up to 415 as well.
So if you have make the IRA contribution now for before 415 for the 28 retroactive to 2019, you can and you meet the adjusted gross income because you have to have a certain limit to do that. You can actually deduct it off this year's taxes. That's a good thing. It lowers your taxable wage base. In terms of the HSA, Michael, are you seeing more and more? We talk about this issue. This is a big issue in the retirement and healthcare space. High deductible health plans. Are you seeing more and more of your clients, whether they're corporations or regular just Americans, using HSAs?
Absolutely. With the way that the insurance premiums have been going up over the years, it's kind of becoming a more of a norm for type of plans for especially small businesses to enact into their workplace environment. And it does have some savings that can be kicked back to the employees as kind of a benefit or incentive. And it gives, there are tax breaks that are available for the employee as well as the employer.
Yeah, so it's almost like a 401k for healthcare in a way. You have to qualify. You have to have qualifiable medical expenses in order to take money out, right?
That is correct. And the one good thing is that you don't have to use it up all at the end of the year. It can stay in there for as long as you need.
Yeah, absolutely. So I took you way off track. What are some other tips that people out there should be thinking about?
Sure. Another area is like education credits. There are a bunch of different options that are available for people if they have undergraduate programs for their kids, or maybe they're taking an advanced level program. There are some credits that are available that you don't even have to be in a degree type of program. You might be just, taking some additional classes to kind of like just improve your education, and there are credits that are available for that as well.
And you don't need necessarily to go to a 4-year school. You could go to a community college. Is that correct? Or do some night program. So you don't have to be spending healthcare costs or higher ed costs, Michael, also through the roof. People don't have to go to the most expensive university or go to a 4-year school. They could go to a 2-year school.
That is true. Yes.
Mike, I want to ask you, a lot of times people don't include their side hustle, their side job, or if they get a 1099, they have a type of job where they get a 1099. We're not just talking about W-2s, right? We're talking about 1099 Rs, 1099 MISCs, 1099 INTs. All these things need to be given to your tax preparer or included in that adjustable gross income calculation.
Yeah, that is correct. Yes. So even if you don't get a 1099 from an individual or a company, you should, like if you had income out there that was earned on kind of like just being an independent contractor or some side job, you're technically supposed to report all your income that you made during the past year.
Last two questions, Michael. The first is, I wonder how many deductions, millions of dollars in deductions, Americans leave on the table. We just went through several of them, gave people some tips. Any idea about, it's got to be in the millions, that people do not take advantage of some of these deductions in the tax code?
Yeah, I would seem to think that it's probably in the millions. Over the amount of years and the amount of people that there are, it could be close to $1 billion of deductions that are just left on the table.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. You should do that. That's why starting early, that's why we're doing the show a month from the filing date, so that people can get this information. Last question, Michael. Audit. That is something that a lot of people, including myself, are afraid of. We're just fearful that the Internal Revenue Service will look at our return and say, Jeff Snyder, we want to look deeper into your records. What can I do? What can the audience do? I think the threat of audit is possible, but the IRS is understaffed primarily, and they don't really have people focus on this all the time. But what can people do really to prepare themselves and prevent an IRS audit?
Well, I think the first thing you do is before you send that return out, either in the mail or you're getting ready to hit a button on the computer to submit it, take a couple minutes there and double check your information. Make sure your name is right. Make sure the address is right. Make sure your social security numbers are entered correctly. Another thing is, if you're doing direct deposit you're getting a refund, check that bank account number. Make sure it's correct. And one other item is, keep all your documents. Keep a copy of your tax return. The IRS can audit up to 3 years after you file your tax return.
Wow.
Typically we say you should keep your return and your backup documentation for 7 years.
Yeah, that's smart. You can keep it electronically. You can download the forms. You can keep everything, and we're in an information age, and you can store that on your hard drive or a backup drive, or put it out somewhere on a Google Drive that's protected. Really interesting. One other tip, probably, Michael, and I want to get your sense on this, is when you're putting in the information, the actual dollars amount, make it accurate, right? I mean, don't put in $200,000 if it's only $185,452.35. That seems to me that if you're not accurate with those things, that would tip off a reviewer.
That's true, especially when a lot of the 1099 forms and W-2s, all those forms are matched by the computer. So if the IRS comes out with a discrepancy, they're going to send out a notice saying, hey, we have a different number than you, and if it's in the wrong direction, then you may be charged interest and penalties, because they may not get to you for another 6, 9, maybe even a year.
Yeah, oy vey. Well, Michael, always a pleasure talking with you. Thanks so much for coming on the program, and look forward to talking with you sooner, maybe after tax season, because you got to be kind of busy. So take care and have a great rest of the week.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a financial topic or someone of interest that you think we should talk to? Drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the news in retirement, markets, technology, personal finance, and so much more, check out our newsletter, The Morning Pulse, each and every day. So until tomorrow, I'm Jeff Snyder. Keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
Attention! The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has officially authorized new benefits that Medicare Advantage plans may include. To get the benefits you deserve, you can call the Medicare Coverage Helpline.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. If you're on Medicare, this is important information. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline, and they instantly looked up my coverage. In this one simple call, they offered to enroll me in a plan that includes rides to medical appointments, private home aides, doctors and nurses' visits by telephone, and even home-delivered meals. The plan also includes dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost.
Don't delay. Call to see if the new benefits are available in your area.
Call the number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-757-1451. That's 1-800-757-1451.